It's tennis with a twist. Welcome to pickleball. Pickleball is a racket sport where 2 to 4 players use solid paddles to hit a ball over a net. The game has features of other racket sports. It has the layout of a badminton court and rules similar to tennis with a few modifications. Pickleball enthusiast Linn says it's one of the fastest growing sports in America.
It's played a lot like tennis. The net is about the same height as tennis. It's actually a little bit in the middle, a little bit lower, but on the outside it's the same height as a tennis net. And it's just you serve the ball, instead of serving overhand like in tennis, you serve it underhand. And then it goes across the net. The receiver has to let it bounce once. They return it to the serving team. The serving team has to let it bounce once. And then from then on, it's just like tennis. It's a fast-paced game. You can soft shot, hard shot, hit it in the air, hit a volley or a ground stroke. It's just like tennis. On
any given day, you can find over 20 athletes at the Palmview Community Center, most of them over the age of 60, playing a spirited match of pickleball. They call it a game of strategy.
It's not a game of just all-out smash and tear, which some people do, but the game at a high level is really a game of strategy, being able to just think the ball over the net and being able to place the ball on the court. So it appeals to people our age because of that.
Macneil, a Canadian who lives in the Rio Grande Valley for several months during winter, says the game gives players a solid workout and it's addicting.
I'm a tennis player and I do play table tennis, so that's a benefit playing pickleball. And what I found in pickleball that's really good is that it appeals to so many people across the board, especially our age group, because it's a step or two slower than tennis. So that allows us to play a game now that maybe we wouldn't play because we have so much court to cover, etc.
Linn, originally from Big Rapids, Michigan, now travels the U.S. looking for pickleball hotspots. He hit the bullseye in McAllen.
I come over here at least twice a week and play in McAllen. There's a lot of good competition here, so that's why I come here.
Linn says pickleball's popularity is soaring because the sport is great for all ages and skill levels.
It's a lot of different people who are learning from these retirement villages. They're taking it back to their hometowns. They're teaching it to all age groups. So not only now today is it's not just older people, but there's a youth group, there's 19 to 35-year-old group. There's places for no matter what your age is to play.
Case in point, 17-year-old Dusty Shankey of Wisconsin. He was in McAllen visiting his grandparents who are die-hard pickleballers. It's become a family affair.
We actually have a court at home and we play all the time out there in the summer and it's really fun. I think more physical and harder hits and it's just really fun.
Shankey admits the older crowd gives him a good run.
These guys are pretty good and I can barely keep up with them, so they're professionals.
Go away. What's the plan? He's following me.
Women are definitely in on the action too. Like Kawecki of Colorado, they're some of the most competitive players on the court.
I think the most fun is meeting different people, and the game is relatively easy to get better at, and so you can have a lot of fun pretty quickly.
Kawecki applauds the city of McAllen for providing them with venues to play the intense, fast-paced sport.
Love it. We need more. It's wonderful. It's getting so popular.
Linn says the best part of pickleball? It's easy to learn to play and there's less stress on the knees and shoulders.
Pickleball can pick up a lot quicker and it's a smaller court. And the fact that you serve underhand as opposed to overhand in tennis, it's a little easier on your rotator cuff and some of those things. So that's why, one of the reasons why a lot of the older people are starting to play, because it's less impact on their body.
Players say it also enhances their coordination.
As you get older, the one thing we tend to do is we become too sedentary. And so you need to really practice and movement, and this is good eye-hand coordination. And it really requires a little bit of speed, but it helps you because the speed is only within agility movement, not going 20 yards or 30 yards, very quick steps. So for your overall physical conditioning, it's excellent.
The story behind the quirky name is traced back to Washington sometime in the 1960s.
It depends whether you're American or Canadian. There's two stories, but we do know some things are in common. That is, three men coming off a golf course arrived home and wanted a game that everybody in the family could play. So they strung a net up across the driveway, and they took old badminton rackets and cut them down to use, and they found a ball with holes in it, which is a Nerf ball. It happened to be the dog's ball that they played with, and the dog's name was Pickles, and so it became known as Pickleball.
The camaraderie on the court is contagious. You can't be a sour pickleballer, although there is a little friendly rivalry.
No matter what our age group is or what our skill level is. When we go to these tournaments around the country, they divide them up into age groups or they divide them up into skill levels. So you're always playing against somebody who is pretty about as good as you are. But I can find people of my own skill level and I can have a good competitive match between them. And that's why I like coming here to McAllen, because there's a lot of good players that come here because of the competition, and so we all get together and try as hard as we can to beat the other guy.
It's easy to see that these players are hooked. They really relish the sport of pickleball. For the city of McAllen, I'm Roxanne Lerma Cáceres.